Hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining us to our roundtable of Mapa Most Affected People Areas. Before I explain you what Mapa is, I want to explain a little bit what Fridays for Future is and why are we striking today. So Fridays for Future started with Greta Thunberg. Is a 15 years old teenager at that time in 2018. That's when Fridays for Future started. She actually went to the parliament of Sweden and started saying, I don't want any more lies and I want someone to act on climate change. More people saw this, teenagers especially, and started doing the same thing. The idea is on Fridays, strike and leave everything, like don't go to school, don't go to work, and take like a break from society and say we don't want climate change. Anyway, on today's strike, what we are doing, March 19, we started doing a lot of strikes globally also, and this one especially has a theme of we don't want any more empty promises, and it has become because of the Paris Agreement. I don't know if you have seen it, but it's basically a lot of global leaders around the world sitting down and talking about how the world is literally destroying and it's on fire and we need action, but not doing anything about it. So why are we in there in the first place? We don't want any more empty promises. We don't want action. So that's the whole theme of today. Internationally, we want action and no more empty promises. But in the US, we are applying the stem to Biden's Build Back Better plan. And demanding that he's not letting his empty promises become empty. Sorry. We desperately need green recovery. So today we are demanding that we build back green and we are coming together to figure it out how we can do that part. Like we can't just let global leaders do everything. We also need to do that change, but we need them to take the biggest action possible so we can actually make a bigger change together. Anyway, in the US, we're also having a lot of things going on of action digitally. So please go check that and don't lose that. And going back to Mapa, Most Affected Areas People, that today of the roundtable theme. So most of Mapa, Most Affected Area People, sorry, I'm repeating that a lot, started with a group of people that said like, hey, there are some countries that are suffering more than others about typhoons or droughts or heavy rains, etc. And they said like we should do something about it, like because it's hard going through all this alone. So Mapa started with that. It started with support, started with trying to help these people, and also started with the saying social justice is climate justice, because there's so many people going on with racism, climate change, problems with education, not being able to have education, etc., etc. So this group of people is basically to demand that and to focus on the people that is having the most trouble with climate change. So it's really important that we help them and be aware of what's happening and be as supportive as we can in the US. And yes, so that's today's roundtable, and I'm not gonna keep speaking anymore, and we're gonna watch the roundtable with these amazing people talking about how Mapa is to them and how they're suffering from all the different things about going on in their countries and how we can support them. So thank you so much for joining, and I will just let you in. So hello everyone, welcome. We are having a roundtable with amazing people right here for Mapa. Mapa is like a part of Fridays for Future of people of most affected areas around the world. So it's so awesome to have you guys here. I'm Lourdes, I will be your moderator. I'm from Argentina, but I'm actually also part of the Fridays for Future United States since I'm moving there. And we are gonna start with like introductions so you guys get to know the people that we are having here. So what's your favorite animal? So do you, Sebastian, wants to go first and introduce yourself and also answer the question?
Yes. Well, I'm Sebastian from Costa Rica, and okay, I have like about 1 year or two, I don't remember. I entered in Fridays for Future when quarantine started here in Costa Rica, and it completely changed my life. So it's so beautiful how you can actually like live on climate change and change all your life to act so that everything you do is a way of save the world. And I think it's really cool how you can change your life. And well, my favorite animal is I love the sea turtles. I love them completely. And actually, about I don't know months ago, there was a problem here with um, them, and I don't know. It feels so beautiful to fight for an animal that I admire so much and I love so much. And I also love butterflies.
So, Yusuf, do you want to go next?
Yes, and thank you so much for having me here. My name is Yusuf. I'm from Balochistan, Pakistan, and I started activism 6 or 7 months ago. I started striking for Fridays with Fridays for Future, but I have started activism since I was a child, just because I have been affected with the climate crisis, and I just wanted to raise my voice against injustice we are facing from a long time. And my favorite animal is horse. I'll pass it to Ignacio.
Hi everyone, thanks for having me. I'm Ignacio, I'm from Argentina. I'm from Mendoza, a city located in the west of Argentina. And well, I'm part of Fridays for Future. I'm also part of the Climate Related Project, and that is a global network. So I'm really concerned about this, and I'm so glad to be here. And my favorite animal is the turtle.
Okay, awesome. That were awesome animals. So thank you so much for you guys sharing a little bit about yourself today. This first question is for Sebastian and Yusuf. Yusuf, sorry. What is like to strike in your country? Are there any restrictions? Please be specific about this. Like, how do you feel when you strike in your country? And tell people how it is, because some people don't have any idea how it is. Yusuf, do you want to go first?
Yes. So yeah, it feels like that we are living in a country which is just developing. People doesn't have a lot of resources to do anything. So just because it feels like that, uh, these countries and government just wants development, more positive. So if you will just start striking, so you will get a lot of threats, a lot of we can say tortures, and it feels like we are detained in a large cage, and we are being stopped to speak for our rights. So I don't think it's easy to strike in a lot of Mapa countries, including my country, Pakistan. So I think it shouldn't be like that. Government has to do something to solve this issue. Just because if we keep striking, if we just support our youth in the country, so the country will go towards development, towards prosperity. Instead of just breaking them, we have to support them. So I don't think it is easy to strike in such countries, which especially the developing countries and the Mapa countries, which are most affected with the climate crisis, and it is just disturbing.
Yes, that's an interesting point. Thank you so much for sharing that. Sebastian, do you want to go next?
Yeah. Okay. Here in Costa Rica, we have like a really important relation to basically environment things because we have a lot of tourism here and we basically live on that. So it's kind of easy because almost all the people that is around you knows why you are there. Like, for example, when we were striking for the trawling, I don't know if you know what is that. It's like, for example, when it's fishing with a lot of webs that destroys all the ground. And well, that was happening here, and it almost were legal, but all the people around us were like talking with us and trying to help us, and it's kind of cool because people wants to help. The problem is when when you are striking for something that they might get a benefit for. For example, there's a problem here with um, Crucitas, a place with a lot of gold and that stuff, and the government wants like to explode it, and we obviously don't want it to be touched. And people get mad about it because they want to get all that money and all that stuff. But okay, it's kind of easy because the people is aware of problems, but it's kind of hard when like you're getting into them getting some benefit.
So like basically it's like people want to strike in Costa Rica, that is just like really difficult when the government just don't care about it at all. Okay, awesome. But not
Something like
awesome.
that.
I mean, yeah, it's not cool. I mean, but yeah. So we're going to go to the next question. This is for Yusuf and for Ignacio. How is it living in climate change in your country? What are things most difficult about it? So Ignacio, do you want to go first?
Sure. Well, this is a complex question, but I think that a lot of people that live in a global north don't know that there are people that already are living the consequences. So I think it's important to give a voice, not only for me, but for the people that is most affected within countries, because I'm not the most affected in my country, for example, or in my community. But I think that is important to give them a voice, like they have a voice, but to amplify it. So I think here in my city, the most important consequence is the weather crisis, and because we are in the feet, let's say, of the Los Andes mountain range, that is a weather resource not only for my city but for all the American continent. So snow is not a reality anymore. We used to have like winters where with snow like all the season, but nowadays we only have like few days in the winter when snow falls, and because of climate change, because of global warming, the temperature in the mountains have risen like 2 degrees or more, and that has a lot of consequences, as I said. And now we have like dams, or we have rivers that have only like the 40% of its capacity. So that's dangerous, and that's like we are worried about it. So it's like difficult. As I said, I'm not the most like touched person, but for example, if you go to the farming places, if you go to the indigenous people community and all that, you will see a very sad situation and a very sad context because of this. And many people don't know that this is because of the climate crisis. They think that this is only a season or something like this. We are in the 10th year consecutive of a weather crisis, and they think, well, in some years it will just go away, and it was just a nightmare. But no, we are seeing how it's getting worse every time. So it's very sad.
Yes, especially if put you in context, in Argentina, we are a third world country, so it's not like we have a lot of benefits when it comes to problematics. I feel like you guys will also relate to this because we are not in like first world countries. So there are a lot of people that suffer from this, and that's why you guys are also in Mapa and you understand the whole situation. So like I feel like we are all living in the same situation where it's really hard to get to government to understand what's happening and to also help what is going through and to live and support people that's actually suffering from climate crisis. Yusuf, what about you? What is like living climate change in your country? What are the most difficult things about it?
Yeah, thank you for asking me this question. I think this is one of the most important questions which should be asked, which are being asked to Mapa countries, like what it is like to live in a country which is most affected with the climate crisis. So as I mentioned before, that we are living in a developing countries which are not enough developed to provide resources to the people. So I think if these countries comes to be affected, these countries are being affected by the climate crisis, so it becomes unbearable for the people to live in these countries. Like in my country, I live in Pakistan. I live in the province of Balochistan, which is one of the most affected country in this region, in this all South Asia. I think because every year we are facing the uh, we are facing so much we can say that different circumstances of climate change, like droughts, floods, and extreme heat. Even temperature sometimes gets to 50. So I think it is huge. And coming to myself, that I have been affected with the climate crisis more than uh, so many times. I think there is a lot of time that I have been affected with the climate crisis. My family has been affected with the climate crisis. I have lost my homes 2 times because of floods, and I have to migrate from to a different city many times just because of weather conditions, and just because of all the other things, all the circumstances we are facing. And I think it is most difficult for the indigenous communities, because they live in a place, in a region something like that. This is comfortable for them. If this is crosses their comfortability level, so it feels like that there is injustice. There is injustice being with the indigenous communities. Like we say, climate justice is social justice. It is actually social justice, just because I think it's very important uh, to provide justice to such people which are being affected with the climate crisis. And I think government should take actions because of these issues. Last year, I think 7 months ago, the floods hit Balochistan, and many people lost their lives. 20 years ago, my whole village were destroyed by the flood, and people has to live in the open sky in the cold night. So I think it is something which is unbearable for us. As I mentioned before, that we are not developed countries. So if the floods and droughts and all the other things hit us or affect us, so there is nothing which should help us. We are not a developed country. We don't have so much resources to help such people which are being affected with the climate crisis. And this is just because of the developed countries. Developed countries are just increasing their emissions, their fossil fuel emissions, and the large amount of greenhouse gases. And on the other hand, we are being affected. Even we are not emitting a lot of greenhouse emissions. Pakistan is just emitting 1% of greenhouse emissions. But I think it is also unacceptable for us. 1% is something which is also unacceptable for us, just because we are so much affected with the climate crisis. We have to find the solution instead of destroying our ecosystem. And there are lots of projects going on here which are going to destroy our entire ecosystem. And there are lots of collaboration with China, which is one of the most greenwashing country in the world. And I think this is going to be huge, and this is going to be huge disaster to these regions, especially to Balochistan, which is, I said before, that which is extremely affected with the climate crisis. People aren't have so much resources here. And on the other hand, they are being affected with the climate crisis, so it becomes unbearable for them to live in such circumstances. Thank you so much.
Yes, it's really difficult in some countries, and we totally get it. And thank you so much for sharing all what's happening there. Hopefully, in some soon future, everything gets well, so better. The next question goes to Sebastian. Like, We really want to know what inspires you to fight for climate change. What is the thing that this is one why I keep fighting for our planet?
Okay, what inspires me to be an activist? It's okay, when I was like 10 years ago, um, there was an activist here, Jairo Mora. He protected the sea turtles and he was killed and he was found in a beach. And like it was super sad to have 10 years and realize that someone that wasn't doing anything wrong was just killed. So I tried to like get more information about it, and I found out all the things that he um, did while he was alive, and it inspires me a lot. And I entered in this path of climate change, and now I'm here, and I believe that I'm here not just because of Jairo Mora. I think I'm here because of also Homero Gomez, for example, Jerry Rivera, another activist from here, from Costa Rica. So every time I found out um, an activist was killed, it hurts me. It makes me feel so sad, but it also like give me the strength to keep fighting and to, I don't know, to follow his or their legacy, because I feel with that responsibility, and I think that it is the most beautiful thing about okay being an activist, because this is not your fight, this is everyone's fight, and everyone can follow and help you like get your solutions and to spread your speech, and that's beautiful. And that's like the principal idea that I'm here because of the because of how much Hairomora inspired me when I was 10, and for all the other activists that helped me get the strength to be talking right now, to go to strikes, to act basically. That's the principal reason.
Yeah, that was an amazing story. Thank you so much for sharing. And we are going to go to the next question. It was what ideas do you have about fighting climate crisis? And I would like everyone to answer these questions if you guys have ever thought about this. But if you don't feel like actually so sure about this question, please don't worry about it. It doesn't have to be like super long. Just whatever you think it will help to change climate crisis, just say it. We can start with you, Sebastian, and we can just let the guys think about it.
Well, as I said before, I think that the best thing that we can do is to educate people around us. And it's really cool how you can do this, like without making people feel that you're arguing with them, because some of people feel like that, like you are saying them, okay, no, this is wrong and this is right, and you have to do the right thing. No, you can start by speaking, by talking with the consequences, with the benefits that we get from environmentalism. For example, I go with a community here in Costa Rica called Green Wolf, and we do volunteering, and we collect trash and stuff and help people recycle. But also, we every time we get a village like that, we get a place, we put a table and we start trying to get all the people around from the community and to ask them if the children can come with us, and we start doing a lot of signals with painting signals. This is a recycling zone, you can't put trash here, and start talking with the children, hey, you know why we are doing this, right? Okay, if you don't, we're collecting trash because you see this plastic bottle, you know how much it um how much time it needs to like get completely destroyed from the environment. And you start by that, you start by introducing them, and it's so beautiful how much like you just have to give them a little introduction, because once they like what they are seeing, what they are doing, they want to get like completely in the problem. Like they want to take all the action. So that's like
So you
my
believe
solution.
like with education, people will want to help, just like they're not getting enough information to actually start making a change, right?
I do know that with education you can change the world. For example, well, when I was like 13 years old, I was elected from presidential, well, for the president of my high school. And okay, I started creating a lot of like I started speaking with the student community, and we could change my high school. Now we have a recognition with the government. We have a three stars of blue flag that it helps you like to know how much ecological a place is. And right now all my high school do recycle and stuff like that. And it started with one person that tries to educate people and to make them fall in love with the cows. So yes.
That was so interesting. Thank you so much, Sebastian. Oh, you're gonna say something else. I saw you. Go.
Well, I was going to like say something. It's just a completely different idea, but I think that we have to change mindsets. I always say that and I've read it. For example, a book that is from Cristina Figueres, that is a woman from Costa Rica, that she was like the director of the UNFCCC, that is the UN Secretary for climate change. So I think that we have to change mindset, because we always think like about climate change. No, but people in general, like a global community, think about climate change as something that really is bad, but it doesn't like threaten us already, or it will affect us in the future, or it'll affect only in another part of the world, but not here. We have to change that, and we have to let them know that climate change is a crisis, it's a climate crisis, and we are being affected by that. And also we have to deliver the message that it's a crisis, but also an opportunity to build a new type of society, a new type of economy, a new type of system that allow us all to grow and to develop in a more inclusive way. For example, if you have only a central energy producer in some part of the world, and it only is fueled by oil, the people, for example, that lives far away from it have to pay much sorry, it's for one side, it's so much harder for them to get the energy, and it's so expensive for them to pay for it. So we can, for example, in that way, make a more decentralized energy resources, and that allow us to be more inclusive. And that's only one example, but we have millions of them. We have to know that climate crisis is affecting us already, and all us, but also that it's an opportunity to build a better society.
Yeah, we totally get your point. I don't think it's really different from what Sebastian said, because like to change mindset will actually change. We need education. If we don't have education in school, like about environmentalism, how we expect to people change their mindset. Like not so many people actually get in the internet and say like, hey, I'm gonna watch this roundtable about Mapa. Maybe they don't even care about it, you know? But it's actually really, really interesting, I guess. It's not like I'm saying your opinion it's not good, it's okay. I feel like both opinions are very strong. I just feel like they are really connected because we need one to make another. So that's amazing, and thank you so much for sharing that. So we're gonna go to the next question. So this question is for Ignacio. Can you tell me what do you enjoy the most about Mapa? Can you tell the people a little about how do we work, and what's the most fun part for you?
What I like about Mapa is that we have like an opportunity for people that don't always get to some places, or it's harder for us to get some places. So we have an opportunity to develop ourselves and to fight for the things that threaten us, and build solutions also. We have I mean we always have like, or people have a mindset, let's say, again, that climate like activism is only for people from Europe, or for people that have all the needs resolved. Let's say they have they have like a good community, they have all the things, all the resources, so they can do something about climate change. But it's not like that. We all have to be climate activists, and global South and Mapa countries have to be listened to, because as we said, we are suffering the consequences of climate change already, and we have a strong problems, for example, inequalities, poverty, that interconnects with climate change, and we are suffering a lot. And we many times don't see that, but it is so hard, and so dangerous. So Mapa is a good place to be listened. It's a good place to, as I said, develop and share experience as we are doing now. And so that's the thing that I like the most about Mapa.
Awesome, thank you so much. People that actually is from Mapa know that we have a lot of fun, and we have very strong friends in there. We have meetings almost every week, so it's awesome to see a lot of new people there. The other time we weren't even talking about climate change, we were talking about astrological signs. So imagine sometimes we don't even talk about important things that are happening. We are also people. But anyway, so keep going with the questions. This question was supposed to be for Yusuf and Ignacio, but I don't know what is Yusuf. Anyway, if you, Sebastian, feel like answering to, please do it, but we will go first with Ignacio so you don't feel overwhelmed or anything. If you had the chance to say something to your global leaders, what would it be? So Ignacio, do you want to go first?
Well, if I had that opportunity, I would say a lot. I think everyone would say a lot, but I would try to convey a message that the message of the opportunity, that I want to ask them if they want to be in the right side of history or not, if they have to be brave or not, if they want to be in the side of fear, of a good place, but they don't want to like get out of that space of
like if they want to be recognized as the people that actually took action and not the people that let this whole crisis happen, right?
Yeah, right. But because as I said, it's an opportunity. We have to go to the path of science. We have to go to get to the path, sorry, of peace also, because climate change is also an issue of peace. It's an issue of inequalities. It's an issue of a lot of things, and we have to get to that path. We can't like delay that path, and they are saying like to 2030 to 2050, but no, we have to make it now. So I want to talk with them if they agree with me, because many times they agree, but they say yes, 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 but they are not getting to the path. Maybe I would ask also, what do they need? Because maybe they need things. They need people to the streets, and they need support. So maybe I would ask also that. But yeah, I want to make, because I know that a lot of global leaders don't know this sense of opportunity that we have, and this sense of urgency that we have. So I would try to deliver them this message, and I think that good things can be done.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Ignacio, for sharing your thoughts. Sebastian, do you want to say something? Like, do you have an idea what would you say if you were in front of the whole global leaders?
Yes. And I will tell them like what I like to tell everyone. Just think about it. Think about what you are going to give to your children, to the future generations. I don't know, money that is going to get waste, a property whose price will fall over time. What can you give them that is going to actually help them for their whole lives? What can you give them? Not much that fresh air to breathe, not much that a beach to go when, I don't know, when they have 3 days, or to go to the mountain and not get and don't find a place full of trash. Like, the only thing that you can give the future generation that is not going to be like that is not going to disappear quickly, like your only legacy, the only thing that you can actually give to the people that is coming, is a place to live. And you can give them this security that they are going to be safe in the future, just by acting now in favor of the climate and the environment. Because the worst future that we can expect is not like an utopic future in a lot of time. No, the worst future is starting right now. And if we don't act, well, your children won't have the same opportunities and the same life that you had. And I think it's really sad to feel like, to think that the childrens won't know a lot of animals that we have right now, won't know how beautiful is that place that you like to go, that park, those trees. It's the only thing that you can give them, a place with trees, with animals. It's the only thing that is going to last forever. No money, no properties, no governments, anything lasts forever except that environment. That's what I will say.
Yes. Yes, I totally agree with you, and especially in the part where we have to act now. And it's not only because of future generation, it's also for our generation that is actually fighting. We don't even know if we have like 10 years left, to be honest. And we are like actually feeling the pressure of starting a career, starting a life and everything. We don't even know if we're gonna live for the next 10 years. So like that's kind of stressing, but maybe it's a topic to talk in another roundtable. So thank you guys so much for being here and sharing your thoughts. Please, if you have any questions, comment down below. We will try to answer and help you with any question you have. And check their social media of this as an activist, and also watch your social media of Fridays for Future United States. Please stay tuned for all the other roundtables that are going to be. We are really, really, really happy that you guys were able to join, and the people that joined, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. So yeah, bye. Well, that was it from the roundtable. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this, and it was an amazing roundtable. I hope you could like think about what is going on and why it's so important that we support these people. As you know, you don't know, I'm from Argentina, especially, and I'm moving to the United States. So I have experienced some of these problems as the most affected area people with my group of FFF Argentina. So it's really important that we support them, and I understand like what is going on and how are they feeling and the desperation of not knowing what to do. So you may ask, like, why are we transmitting this on the US? What has the US to do with this? So like, if you don't know, the US is one of the countries that more pollutes and more contamination has around the world. And not many people knows this. I mean, how would they know? Like, this information is not anywhere, and it's really hard to find when you search for it. So that's why we're here today. That's why we are here to teach you some more stuff about what's going on and to show you that these people is real. These things are actually happening, and it's not just a newspaper that's telling you, yeah, you know, in California there are fires, or in Argentina there has been like a big fire. No, this is actually happening. This is real people, and we are all in this together, you know, like High School Musical stuff. We need everyone here, and we need everyone's support in each country to do their part. And the part of the US is actually to change people's minds, because we know that so many people is discussing about, is science real, is not, you know. Science has proven that this has coming, and it's coming, and it's happening, and we have all these people going on. So we have to take this into action. We have the power to act. Like, imagine if me, I don't know, Kat and my friends start striking, then my friends of my friends will start striking, and then we have so many people fighting for this subject and for this problem and for all these things. And you know, then we will have a big group of people actually doing something for climate change. You know, we are all connected in this planet, in this ecosystem. Animals are important, trees are important. Everything that that exists here in this world is interconnected. If we don't protect everything, we die. Like, you know, it has been going around the world that, you know, but 2050 we will not have more fishes in our ocean. And I don't know how not everyone is freaking out about it, because if we don't have fish, then the whole interconnection of ecosystem breaks. And if that breaks, we won't exist, because we are also interconnected into all this system of the, you know, the world and how it works and how it functions. And if we are destroying all that, how we pretend to keep living on this earth if we don't have nothing left? And it's so easy to start something like in your home, for example. You can just search like, what can I do to help climate change? And I'm sure so many things will pop out, like, I don't know, be vegetarian, eat less meat or animal products, or even be vegan if you want to, if you feel like it, or reduce like the time you're using your lights, like electricity. I don't know, plant more trees, plant whatever you feel like it. And with these small actions, we can make something bigger, because as we talked before, if you do it and you tell your friends, your friends might tell your other friends, who might tell your other friends, and then might do something together. And that's what we were talking about in the Mapa, most affected people areas problem. This is something that we solve all together. If we're not together, nothing is going to happen. We have to change our minds. We have to take action, because this is our planet too. And this is why we are here today, because we are saying no to more empty promises. So yeah, thank you so much for joining, and please check our social media, Fridays for Future United States, Instagram, YouTube, everything. And please stay tuned for the rest of the actions we are having today. So we are having articles, rallies, etc., that you can join and see and do whatever you want. And also, if you have like a local group and you want to start one, or like if you want to strike physically, etc., you can still do it. Like there are some cities that are doing it. Just please check out if you're one, or if you want to strike alone, you can still do it. Like no one's stopping you. And whatever, if you want to join Fridays for Future, welcome. We are here to receive you. And yes, thank you so much for being here today, because today makes a change, and being here makes a change, and you watching this roundtable also makes a change. So yeah, thank you so much, and we'll see another time.
What an important roundtable that was. Mapa activists, most affected people and areas, are the glue to our organization, because communities of color are disproportionately affected by the climate crisis firsthand. These activists are the voices that need to be heard more, and there's a simple solution: listening. We can show we are listening by amplifying Mapa voices, also educating ourselves on the repercussions of our actions and that disproportionately affect others to an extent that we are not even aware of, and encourage others to take the same steps until this way of thinking is the norm. This is a global crisis. All walks of life will be affected at some point if we don't step up and act now. Today is such an important day. We have our chance to save our futures now. Let's get back on our feet and continue to fight for our home. Many local groups across the US have planned a whole day of events, and it's all digital this time. So far, we've had Strike Together and demanded elected officials to act now, have heard from Mapa activists, and later we're going to hear from the brave women in our movement. Then we will brainstorm together how we can spark change and have opportunities to engage and be an active participant throughout the rest of the day. And so, to motivate and rekindle the fire of climate activism that we all have been missing a little this year, since we aren't out on the streets, we have a fiery rally up next. We are in this fight together to decrease our global temperature, build back a green home, and demand no more empty promises. We're going to take a real quick intermission to get up, stretch, get a drink of water, and meet us back in here for a few minutes to get motivated, angry, and demand change. See you in a few minutes for our rally.